And welcome to Capital Talk, a program we hope will have an impact on the future of Kenya. Now more than ever, I'm Jeff Koinange. Now I tell you folks, this is the interview you all have been waiting for, because not since Michaela Wrong's tale of It's Our Turn to Eat, talking about John Githongo, has there been a more explosive book on the market. You saw the serialization in the Nation newspapers all of last week, and the book has been launched over the weekend and is now available at bookstores across the city, folks, from Prestige. Better yet, go to Yaya Center, Bookstop. Go to see my friend Chand, he has it. The title, Peeling Back the Mask, A Quest for Justice in Kenya. Folks, it's the book that a lot of people did not want to see happen. My guest, who came on the bench several times, insisted it was coming out, and very few believed him. But talk about a tell-all book. This is it. And the author is here in the only interview you will see of him. So sit back, watch, listen, and maybe learn a thing or two, because the man himself on the bench. Yes, this man with the same name twice, whether it's Juguna, as they're saying in the streets, or indeed Miguna Miguna.
Is this the only interview?
This is the only one that people will watch. There may be others, but this is the only one
That they will watch.
Correct.
Correct.
My goodness. You know, Miguna, to be honest, when you came here several months ago and you said, I am writing this book, it will be out in June, July, whatever, it's going to come out. People said, come on, man. It'll never come out. It'll never see the light of day. It's out. International publisher.
They should have been, they should have paid attention to the fact that I've never said anything I have never done. I keep my word. I keep deadlines. And I've never failed to deliver. I never threaten something I don't do. I never promise anything I will not deliver. So I delivered.
Miguna, a lot of people are saying the bits we saw in the Nation, in the serialization, this is public knowledge. We knew this. We knew there was graft in the Prime Minister's office, but they were exonerated. We knew there was this. We knew there was that. So they're saying that there's nothing new.
I think that is being too fast with the truth. To put it politely, what did they know? And if they knew, what did they do about it? At least I've tried to do something about it, not just when I was there, but after I left. Now they can see that I wasn't just somebody who was talking after the fact, that I tried to do my bit when I was inside. You see, some Kenyans, not all of them, because the calls I've received, 99.9% of Kenyans are very supportive. And they're telling me, that I did a good job. There are people that have never called me, that called me. Yesterday, I even received calls from Norway, from Italy, from Germany, even Radio Deutsche Welle. There's even a radio station in Italy. People are calling from all over the world. People I never knew, Kenyans and non-Kenyans. So this is not a small thing. I think I have made a humble contribution. What I set out to do, which people don't understand, number one, is to tell my story, to tell my narrative, to share with Kenyans my experiences, and my experiences in the fight against impunity, a quest for justice. Since I was a small boy, I've always fought injustice. And when people get to read the book, the first story they will encounter in the first chapter is when I was an 11-year-old being abused by an uncle, being assaulted, being refused basic necessities of life, including going to school, being turned into a herds boy. And I ran off in the middle of the night and took off from Lambwe Valley in South Nyanza all the way to Kisumu, alone at midnight, hitched a hike from a ride from a lorry. That was an 11-year-old. Now, when I was in Onjiko Secondary School, people will tell you, I stood up against authority, even though I was a prefect. When I was at Jiris High School, I was a deputy school captain. And I still took up a fight against authority in the way in which they were mismanaging funds and mistreating students. And at the University of Nairobi, it's well known. When I was at the NYS, I did that. when I was at Nairobi University. I did that. That is why Moi arrested me, detained me, tortured me, and then I went into exile. When I was in exile, I fought racism as fiercely, probably even more fiercely, than I fought oppression in Kenya. And when I was practicing law, Kenyans in Canada will tell you that the first stop that you made when you got abused or mistreated by the public authorities, particularly the police, was my law firm. I sued the police, I sued the government, I made a name there for myself fighting against impunity.
And is that why when you came back?
So when I came back, it was a continuation of the fight, not just the fight that I left, or I didn't leave really because I continued fighting against dictatorship and one-party, authoritarianism, even when I was in Canada. But in a more physical way, when I came back now, and now I am here and rejoining the forces of progress and progressive forces that are seeking change for the transformation, positive transformation of society, of institutions, of our culture, of the way we do things, of the way governance is done in Kenya. We've not had governance or service as such. We've had misgovernance. And so this is one but a continuum of that struggle, together with others. But in my little space, I'm trying to share those experiences with Kenyans. So when I'm peeling back the mask of impunity, merchants of impunity are trembling. And they are trying to conscript others, trying to use propaganda and use all kinds of malicious innuendo to get back at me.
You must have been very disappointed then, Miguna, because you jumped on the ODM bandwagon and you believed in them for what you stood for. You believed in them.
Fully. I believed in Raila fully. I believed in ODM fully. That is why I'm disappointed. If I didn't, if I joined like others, these quarrels like Karoli making noise, who joined because of money. He only knows how to make money. He made money in YK92. He's been making money through KANU. So now he saw an opportunity to make money. I never joined KANU. I'm one of the few Kenyans that never joined KANU. I never ever have taken even 1 cent of bribe. I have never ever been involved in any kind of corruption.
And yet you saw it all around you.
And yet it was all around me, and people were trying to induce me to join them. And they were making fun of me, telling me through others that, Miguna is like the Mau Mau. He has refused to come out of the forest. We have independence now, we can eat. Miguna has refused. He's saying there is no independence. Well, that is really sad. Because the people who were saying that was James Orengo, was Raila Odinga, was Anyang' Nyong'o, was Otieno Kajwang. And people that everybody thinks or thought were agents of change.
And they all thought you were the enemy, didn't they?
Oh, they thought I was the enemy against eating. I was the enemy against the culture of impunity, which they have now embraced. And I would challenge them to stand in front of me and tell me they have not embraced. If they have not, I would challenge Orengo as Minister of Lands. How many pieces of land has he reclaimed from the KANU orphans? Most of them in ODM. And the KANU orphans? Yeah. The Gumos, the Enricos Gays, the Bets, the Dalmas Otienos. There are many. And they are all in ODM. How many pieces of public land that were stolen, looted from the country have been returned? How come Kiptagich is still controlled by Moi? Who owns Kabarak, really speaking? Who owns Sunshine? Who owns the other school? There are many public assets that these people own that have not been returned. Then Raila Odinga is the supervisor and is the coordinator of the execution of all government functions, including ministries. And we have the Kroll report with billions sitting in Britain and other countries like Switzerland. What attempts has he made to get back the money? People have been asking, did you say that when you were there? Every single week.
You would say it.
I have memo after memo after memo written to Raila Odinga asking him to act. Now, people say, okay, so why didn't you resign? Why should I? When I'm there trying to do a work for you, and you're telling me I should be running away, I'm not a quitter. If I'm in the battle fighting, we have gone to war. Like now you've sent soldiers in Somalia. If Al-Shabaab is coming to attack them, are you going to tell them, why didn't you run away? No, they will fight there first. After they come back, they will tell you stories, including problems within their ranks. But they will not leave the field of war, the theater of war, to come back so that they can tell you, oh, there are problems there, I've left. No, I had to deal with the problems the way they were. In fact, I'll tell you, a lot of people are very disingenuous. There is a friend of mine called Adongo Adongo, Maurice Adongo Gony, not Olo, Maurice Adongo Gony, in Canada, whom I shared a lot of this information with. I even told him in email after email, Raila sold out. Raila is not a reformer. Raila, the forces of impunity are circling Raila, and we are going to lose this thing even if Raila becomes president in 2012, 2013. He knows that. Now he's attacking me. Why didn't I say these things? I said so. I said so to Sarah Eldakin. I said so to Maurice Adongo Gony. I said so to Salim. I said so to Oyugi. I said so to Ongwen. They all know the truth. But now they're trying to attack me when they know the truth. They know, and they encouraged me. No, don't leave. Orengo even told me I was going to resign. One day I told Orengo, I'm tired. I think I'm going to quit. He said, please, Miguna, don't quit. You're the only one we have here. You know, he told me, Miguna, there are things I can't even do. There are things I can't even say. For example, that incident when you took the chair from Kibaki. I couldn't do that. Miguna, there are things you are the only one in this camp that can do. Stay.
And you're the only one who had the guts to stand up
so
to
now, they are being hypocritical to attack me. If you hear, for example, you're working as a team, your captain is supposed to be representing change. He's saying he's a reformer. He's the captain of reforms. And you hear that one of your colleagues has bought property in town worth $1 billion. True or false, it doesn't matter. You've had a story. As a responsible citizen and as a responsible advisor, you would go to the person and you'd go to your boss and say, this is the story I'm hearing. Because otherwise, you're not helping anybody. I have had this. And when you hear it from a cabinet minister, it has a lot of credibility. And a cabinet minister who was the head of the civil service and secretary to the cabinet, who has direct links to security system. So you go and you say, this is very serious. Is it true? And you're told, so what if it is true? So what if it is true? Who told you not to make money? Who told all these loudmouth Luos not to make money? So what if Karoli bought Heron Court? My point is, I'm sharing this story to say, so if we are fighting against corruption and you hear this thing, the responsible thing would be, that is a shocker. Karoli, is it true that you bought Heron Court? And then we can talk about it. When you chase me away and you tell me there is nothing wrong, what conclusions does a reasonable person come to? I'm your advisor. I'm trying to tell you that there could be problems in the office that you need to be aware of so that your reputation can remain intact, so that when we campaign now going into 2012, 2013 elections, you can now embrace the agent of change transformation candidate, run with it and win, which was my job. And I am the one who developed the strategy on this change thing. This thing is saying I'm the reformer. Yeah. That was my strategy.
But he's not a reformer, according to critics.
But I'm saying that is what I had strategized, to sell him as a reformer, even though I was seeing contradictions. And when I was challenging him, it was so that I could satisfy myself whether the guy has abandoned reform completely or there is something we can still salvage. Because I was also being realistic. I looked around and I saw the people that are campaigning also for the same thing. And I said they are not reformers. So I was trying to use the best tool I had, even though it was contaminated, to try to salvage something. Then I found, no, this thing is completely contaminated.
But you also say in the book, Miguna, that Raila sold out on ODM in the deal he made with Kibaki.
Yeah, you've not read the book, but it is true. He did not just sell out then. He sold out on everything, including the constitutional reform. He sold out. He's the one who came up with this pure presidential system. He's the one who insisted that the president had to be so powerful when I was trying very hard to dilute the power so that we could spread it out horizontally, so that there was more accountability and balance in the administration of public affairs. Raila refused. Even this thing now that they are crying about, that somebody who is charged at The Hague or anywhere should not run. I drafted something and insisted at a meeting that was chaired by Raila, then later on chaired by Mudavadi because he left before the meeting was over, when we were discussing the bail. And I told Raila, make sure anybody who has been charged cannot run. And he told me, no, Miguna, no. Even criminal record, he refused. He said, I have a criminal record, so are you telling me I can't? I said, Raila, you don't have a criminal record. You are detained. And in any event, we make an exception to those criminal records that were acquired by people who are struggling for liberation, and everybody knows that the only reason they were jailed is because they were agents of change fighting dictatorship.
Including his involvement in the 82 coup?
No, 82 coup he was never jailed for.
I know.
He was never convicted.
But?
No, but let me tell you this story. I gave him the example of Mandela. I said Mandela went to jail for 27 years. He came out and became president and is now everybody worshipping him. I told him Jomo Kenyatta went to jail. So what I'm saying is that we make a distinction between jail sentences that are issued by dictators as opposed to jail sentences that are issued by an independent, impartial, objective judicial system. And I was telling him that now that we have a new constitution, now that we are reforming the judiciary, somebody who had those kind of criminal records can apply for amnesty and or have the criminal record wiped out of their expunged. I said that you can do, but there has to be a process. But you cannot have a blanket system where anyone can run. I said that. He said no. So I'm saying to you that he flip-flops. Now, because it serves their interest, they are saying no, clear your name first. Is that not what his wife said? Clear your name first. What kind of nonsense is that? You either stand on a principle and you have to tell us with one voice, not one side of you, which is your spouse saying one thing and you are saying one thing. Because really that is what Raila wants. What Aida is saying, that is Raila's opinion. Yeah. He's pretending rhetorically when he stands on a campaign platform to say, oh, let them come, let them come. You know, we have only 2 horses. That's all rubbish.
Has he lost the election right now, Miguna? If the election were held today?
Raila is gone.
Flat out gone?
Flat out gone. The country is not with Raila right now.
Was Musalia the straw that broke the camel's back?
No. Over time, Raila has exposed himself as a duplicitous, deceptive, hypocritical, dishonest politician. That's what he is. I mean, I call it as it is. Tell me, where is his record? We can only judge his record based on his record in government, not in the opposition. Because there, he could only criticize. Now that he has the knife, as Castro Peter Olo Aringo used to say, he has the knife and he has the yam. And now he can cut it. How is he cutting it? We see him cutting it quite unequally and quite unfairly by distributing it to his relatives and friends and leaving everybody else out there. Look at the jobs and how they have been distributed on the ODM side. Look at the jobs. A system where you have a prime minister from the same family. You have the assistant minister for finance, and he made sure that there's only one assistant minister, even though others are shared. But in finance, which is the biggest ministry, you have only his brother. Then the chief whip, which is also a cabinet position, is his cousin. Then another cousin is a permanent secretary. Then another cousin heads the geothermal. Then another cousin is in Kenya Power. Then and his sister is sent to California. Another sister is in Kenya Railway Pension, whatever, recently resigned or whatever because of allegations of corruption. And so you can go on, and then Jakoyo's brother-in-law
It's NHIF.
is the ambassador in Washington. I mean, my friend, it is abhorrent. It defeats every single ethical principle that you can come up with. There is no rational explanation to it other than to say somebody is a nepotist. We call it what it is. Let him come in front of me and tell me that's not nepotism. How many other Kenyans, even from Nyanza, qualify for these positions? As he's doing this, every other senior officer, public officer from Nyanza, has been chased out of their jobs without Raila standing up for them, whether the allegations are true or false. And I'll count. Dr. Ongonga Chieng, chased away. We don't know whether the allegations are true or false. Odhiambo of Posta, chased away. The allegations were false. It has been found. Not returned to the job. You go to the cement factory. What is it called?
Bamburi or
yeah, Bamburi. No, here this one. Portland Cement.
Portland.
Another one. You go to Kenya Pipeline. Another one. Every single CEO from Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, that Raila found that Kibaki had appointed were removed without a replacement from the same area. I'm not trying to say that this replacement from the same area, which is a principle in Kenya, should have applied. But what I'm saying is Luos must now start to understand that they have not benefited from the Raila premiership.
Hold that thought, Miguna. Yeah. Hold that thought, because this is heavy, man. This is heavy, and it's only Monday, man. This is heavy. My goodness. And what you're saying at the end of the day is, this is just a warning shot, isn't it? There are a couple other books.
A warning shot in the air.
There are other books coming.
There are other books coming.
Do you fear for your life?
No, you ask me all that. Please, I don't.
You must.
No, I don't.
Man with the same name twice, folks, and it's not Juguna. It's Miguna Miguna with his explosive new, no doubt, bestseller, folks. It's going to be Peeling Back the Mask, a quest for justice in Kenya. He's on the bench, folks. You better sit back, lean forward. Whatever you do not touch that remote control, because you know Miguna Miguna is back in a moment. And welcome back to Capital Talk. If I had a copy of the book right here, I would be throwing it up. But you know where to get it. Go to Yaya Center Bookstop. Talk to Chand there. He'll give it to you. Prestige all over town. It's called Peeling Back the Mask, a quest for justice in Kenya by Miguna Miguna, folks. And he says this is only the first. There are others. Whoa! It's only Monday, folks. This bench is ablaze. Somebody call G4S. Sit back. So how do you explain Raila's continued popularity all the way from 2005 to today? Because every poll, even now, puts him in the lead.
You know, you keep saying that, and it is wrong to say that. Because one, Raila's popularity has gone down significantly. In fact, it's not even half of what it was in 2007. Is essentially is disappointed everyone. He's really disappointed everyone. We gave him a credit, and he went beyond the credit that he had. So if you have 100 shillings or $100 and you go and spend 300, you are in a hole. And he's in a hole. He's in a hole everywhere. The only place, well, I'll give you examples. Raila is in a hole in Nairobi. Popularity.
You think he could take Nairobi?
He couldn't.
Miguna.
He couldn't. Where is he going to take it? How? Where? He can't win any by-election in Nairobi. He has not won since Mugabe Were died. Has he won any by-election? He hasn't. I mean, we are talking facts. And we are talking constituencies that were ODM predominantly.
Yeah.
All right? So, he cannot win Nairobi. I'm not talking of Langata, I'm talking Nairobi.
Correct.
He cannot win Coast. Raila cannot win Rift Valley. He cannot win Rift Valley.
He can take Rift Valley.
He cannot.
He's got...
Listen to me. Rift Valley right now is Ruto's. Let's be honest.
No.
It is Ruto's. It is Ruto's for the taking. That is a fact. Whether we like it or not, that is a fact.
Even with Koskei now on his side?
Koskei he can't even win his constituency. Koskei is nothing politically and has been nothing for a long time. And really should not be somebody we speak about because he's a remnant of the old order that should have been history that in many countries, serious people like us should not be discussing. So I won't discuss Koskei. He's not somebody that is worth my time. So right now, the only person in Rift Valley that can bring any kind of support to anyone is Ruto. Is now actually the kingpin in most of the Rift Valley.
Can we see Ruto going back to join Raila eventually?
Well, you never say never in politics, particularly because I'm not Ruto and I don't know how he thinks and how he does things. But I think it would be difficult. The reason why it would be difficult is because Raila hates Ruto with a passion. He's told me many times. We try to reconcile Raila with Ruto. Me, Professor Yugi Ongwen, and me, Professor Yugi Ongwen, and Orengo. Orengo was very quiet, but he was there in the meeting. And Raila told me, this young man, he called him a boy, is disrespectful. There's nothing I can do with him. He's nothing anyway. So Raila hates Ruto. Raila has told me himself that he wants Ruto to be locked up at The Hague. He has told me that himself. Ruto and Uhuru, he has told me himself that he wants to be locked up at The Hague. That's a fact. Now, how do you reconcile with such a person? What value does Raila bring to Ruto? Because Raila is very unpopular in Rift Valley, Ruto is popular. So Raila is not helpful to Ruto, Ruto is helpful to Raila. Why would Ruto do that? What does he get in return? Nothing. You know, this thing about, Raila has taken us to The Hague and therefore he can negotiate. Well, even if he did, which I don't believe, how would he negotiate it? It's a judicial matter right now, it's not politics. At the level at which it was being negotiated with Annan or at the UN Security Council, at least politics plays a role there. But once the matter is in court and the judicial process now is in course, there's nobody who can interfere with it, at least not Raila. He's not a world power. He's not even president of Kenya. So how is he going to do it? So there is no value Raila adds to Ruto. So if Ruto gets to Raila, it would probably be madness, in my view. I don't think there is any value there, and he can't.
Who would Raila take as a running mate, or as his greatest alliance?
It's not a greatest alliance. Raila does things because of calculations. Yeah, he sometimes gets to bed with people not because they are his best buddies. It's just because he conveniently feels that is somebody who can help him out. It's always about Raila. You think his friendship with Njonjo is genuine? You think his friendship with Moi, so-called friendship, is genuine? None of it is genuine. Raila is not interested in genuine friendship. He's never had genuine friendship. So when I look at the political panorama, what I believe now, given what I saw yesterday, is that probably he's going to take Ngilu. There's no other reason why Ngilu declared that she's supporting Raila for the presidency other than the fact that Raila must have told her that I would like you to be my running mate. You're a woman. You're from Eastern. You have some base. You can take care of Kalonzo. Therefore, I would like you to be my running mate. It gives him hoopla, buzz, and probably that's what he's planning to do. Because as you recall, just before Ngilu said that she's now supporting Raila, she had said she was ready for the presidency herself. A day after that, and that is why I don't like our politicians, barely a day after that, she's saying now what she said yesterday was just talk. Now she's supporting somebody else. And then before then, 2 months before then, she was with Mudavadi, saying how she's going to support Mudavadi. So these are political prostitutes, really. They don't stand for anything. So I would not be surprised if she was picked as a running mate. I think that is Raila's running mate. The other running mate Raila wanted to pick was Saitoti. Yeah. So, but
Saitoti was,
unfortunately, Saitoti is dead.
But Saitoti said he was going for the top job.
I'm saying Raila wanted. I didn't say Saitoti wanted. Raila wanted. And you know, even though Saitoti announced that he was going for the top job, I think realistically, and he was not a fool. He must have understood and knew that he couldn't make it. So when you realize you can't make it and you're a politician and you have to renew yourself, rejuvenate, and keep surviving, you like power, you like money, and so you have to be in that satellite of power. Then you choose the person that could make you self-perpetuate. And in this scenario, it would have been better if he did it with Raila or Mudavadi, somebody other than a Kikuyu. So of course, Uhuru would be out, Martha Karua would be out, Kenneth would be out, Mwite would be out, Musimi would be out. So and of course, Kalonzo would also be out because that's within the Eastern Hemisphere. So he would be going west. And what a better person at the time than Raila in his mind. And they could then come up with a grand strategy of Luos and Kikuyus together again, 202 replayed.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And that probably is what they were working at. Unfortunately, fate is just that, fate. It didn't work.
No.
Yeah.
But it could have been an amazing scenario.
That is what was going to happen.
At the end of the day, goodness, the things that you talk about in this book, Miguna, are beyond. People are looking at the excerpts especially. It's like, oh my goodness.
Like which one?
The ferry incident.
There?
The ferry.
But that one was public knowledge. Although our media, knowing the way they operate and the fact that they can be bought, did not carry it. But people in Gaza, everybody knew.
They knew.
Oh, they knew.
That
They didn't
Sally,
know the details.
Sally was in the ferry. The ferry was called back. Sally was kicked out.
Not just that, it was worse actually. And in fact, when you think about these things, you wonder, how can people do this? It was dangerous. It was dangerous. They put at risk all the passengers. Because when I spoke with Sally, she told me really the reason why the captain resisted, the captain refused to come back. And the DC was made to call him to order him back. Because the captain said, it is more dangerous to turn around the ferry. It can capsize. It is better to either reach the destination and come back, and it was just going to be a 1 hour wait, even less, or get another ferry to ship these people. She said, no, this is the ferry that had to come back. Then the explanation she gave, according to Sally, was even more bizarre. That she said when Sally now is called by the Prime Minister pretending to be apologizing, I thought reason would have dictated that the person who should have been apologizing should have been Ida. But no, Raila calls Sally to apologize on behalf of Ida. But it is not really an apology, because he says, oh, unfortunately, Waziri, Ida thought that you were Beth Mugo. Now, the vehicles are there. They have flags. Is one minister better, superior, more valuable than the other? I mean, they're all Kenyans. They're both ministers. They also happen to be both females. What is this thing about Beth Mugo should be taken out and not Sally Kosgei? None of them should have been taken out. Not only that, Ida first ordered that engineer P.S. Orege's vehicle should also come out. And Orege threw a tantrum and refused. In fact, what has not been even reproduced and what I have not even said is that when the ferry arrived in Rusinga Island, they were going to the funeral of Millie Odhiambo's, was it mother
or father? Yeah.
Is that she now turned and made Orege pay for the cost of the transport of her vehicle, 2 vehicles and the bodyguards and whatnot. She didn't pay.
Oh, goodness.
And that again became a controversy, and people who are there reported to me, and they are there, they can come to court and testify. Tell me we were there.
It happened.
We saw what happened. And Orege was very mad. And even later on, after Orege came back, they were there when Orege was complaining that he was so mad at what happened.
And she's not even first lady yet.
She was not even, and she's not even working for the government. She has no public function. So how you can order a cabinet minister to be taken out of a ferry, a cabinet minister, and you don't have any position in the government?
What about the man you call
abuse of power
What about the man you call the lyrical sycophant
in the king's court?
and it's $500,000 shillings
You
suit.
know, it is quite interesting because it's like every epoch, every historical, season produces a lyrical sycophant. During Moi's time, there were several,
Yes.
but the one that beat them all was called Castro Peter Olo Aringo. The man of Moi has the knife, and he has the what?
The yam.
The yam.
Yes.
And he's the one who cuts, and he decides who gets what, even in terms of portion. So this lyrical sycophant has become terrible because he's very bright, extremely bright. He has an exemplary public record. He's an impeccable intellectual, an impeccable parliamentarian and debater, a good legal mind, has been very progressive. And here he is, given a ministry, and become shambolic. And everywhere you are, it's so embarrassing. His Excellency, Your Excellency, Your Excellency. It's so embarrassing that he's always trying to cuddle up, trying to be the worst sycophant around when you are with Raila. And even at times when you expect him to speak up, Orengo crumbles and becomes nothing. You can't recognize him. You'd sit down and strategize and arrange to do things. You'd arrive there, him and Anyang' Nyong'o, and they become just completely unrecognizable. Yeah.
You said they were timid, they were
cowardly, they're hypocritical. They're the worst kind of chameleon I've seen. Yes.
and yet they dress very well now. There was a story about the $500,000 shilling suit.
But I was laughing because I said, at least Mutula helped me, because I was forgetting the name of the shop.
Yes. In Chicago.
Mutula, in Geneva. Brihoni. Mutula knows the shop. So clearly he has confirmed we went to the shop.
Yes.
He's confirmed we were both three of us there. He's confirmed only Orengo shopped. But he confirmed also that he was not there when Orengo was buying the shirt.
Yeah.
I was the only one then who saw the price. And so he can't speak about the price. You see, Mutula may be used to dollars. These things were in euros. And I converted euros into dollars. The shirt Orengo bought was 600 euros. That is over $1,000, I think.
A shirt.
A shirt. A short-sleeved shirt. I was there until we said, my goodness. You see, Mutula walked out immediately in protest. And when I followed him, after seeing the shirt Orengo was buying, he told me, Miguna, what's wrong with Jim? This is terrible. What's wrong with it? How can you spend that kind of money on a shirt?
And Mutula has money, by the way.
He said, yeah, and he told me, I'm probably richer than Orengo. My friend, if you need suits, he told me. And he showed me a suit. You see this one? It's properly cut.
Yes.
You know, Mutula knows how to dress and
Correct.
everything. He said, this is done by a guy from Hong Kong. I bring them over. And they tailor this, it's not more than $150. You know,
For the
you
suit.
can even get it cheaper. So if you want suits and you want somebody to tailor make them for you, because you know I'm tall and may need that, you come to me. Don't do what Jim is doing. Of course I couldn't. I don't have that kind of money.
But they
And then of course the belts. I was there with him, with the Prime Minister,
Yeah.
and I took him to a shop in Chicago. Orango bought 2 belts, each one $250. Each one $250. You
A
know,
belt?
Until then, I didn't know belts were that expensive. And Jeff have stayed in Canada for 20 years, and I didn't even know that, because I think it is insane that anybody. And then, of course, we started looking around. And so we are walking with Jim, and James looks at the suits and whatnot, and then he reaches a section that clearly I can't even look at a suit. So I asked, how much are this? I mean, my friend, I looked at the price, $6,000 US.
Come on.
US. Jim bought the suit. Jim bought $6,000 suit US. That was not the only one. I mean, he was shopping. Jim buys things that just blows you away.
And a few years ago, this same Jim wasn't that wealthy, was he?
Well, I don't know. I don't think he was. But, you know, I asked him, Jim, how can you afford this? He told me, you know, when ministers travel, they don't have a limit for how much they spend. I don't know.
Oh, my.
I just don't know.
Yeah, Miguna, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to come after you. You know that. With everything they've got, they're going to...
Well, they have already come after me. But the thing is, as I say, truth never decays. And you know, in law, and I'm a good lawyer, I'm a good libel lawyer, and I'm challenging them to come because I want to teach them some law. Truth is an absolute defense in a court of law. All right?
Yes.
And here, I am speaking the truth. So come, you're welcome.
Bring it on.
And I've told them, this is not the entire thing. People have to be careful. I've shot in the air, warning shot, in the air. There is smoke. What is it that I've not disclosed? And that is ready also. And I've decided that it might not be necessary to release at this time. Remember, I was coordinating Raila's strategy team. Remember, I was Raila's senior most advisor in coalition, legal, parliamentary, and constitutional affairs. Remember, I was the secretary to the permanent committee. And I was also the secretary, apart from coordinating, the one who kept all the records. Remember, I was here during the PEV. Remember, I was at the Pentagon House. Remember, I know everything about PEV. So they should remember that. I'm not threatening anybody, but at least it is good to remember that. So people should start auditing themselves, what they did and what not, and what Miguna knows and may be covering. The second thing they should remember is ICC. Raila should think deep and hard about the discussions we've had and what I have done for him and what we did together that I've not disclosed. He should remember a third thing, and this I'm saying knowing very well that they will watch. Raila should remember that I have the strategy of ODM for 2012-2013. I drafted most of it, and even the ones I did not draft, I have. I have not disclosed, I have not shared that. Why? Because I am responsible. I'm not reckless. I'm not malicious. I'm not going to get a pound of flesh. But I will tell the truth that will advance the transformation of society. I will tell the truth that will help us get justice. I will tell the truth that will help us fight impunity. But I will not go after somebody maliciously. But first, I shall. Just like Mandela, when you are doing something right, when you stand for justice and the truth, be ready to die for it. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what they do. Miguna is sophisticated. You think this information is in Nairobi? Is only in Miguna's head? You think this information is not somewhere so that if you do anything reckless, it will not come out and consume you anyway? Be careful. That's all I can tell people. Think before you act. But Miguna is ready. If you go to court, I am ready. And I will not hire a lawyer. I will act on my own and I will teach a few people some law.
Okay, Miguna, I have to give you the parting shot now. The parting shot going forward, Miguna. What is it?
Going forward is that people have to make a decision in this quest. You have to make a decision either to be on the side of justice or to be on the side of impunity. If you are on the side of justice, you will win. If you are on the side of impunity, you will lose. I guarantee you that. History is replete with that record. Miguna has chosen to be on the side of justice and he will prevail.
You're a brave man.
Yes.
You're a brave man.
Thank you.
And you have lots more in store. You have the trump card somewhere. Whoa! Somebody call the entire fire department, folks. It's only Monday. Miguna Miguna has thrown down the gauntlet. And there's a book out there that's definitely going to be a bestseller. Peeling Back the Mask, a quest for justice. Right here in Kenya, folks. Get it. Yaya Center Prestige everywhere across town. You will not be disappointed. Miguna is working on 2 more, not even 1, 2 more. This man is not stopping. He's on a quest for justice. He says he's on the side of justice. Wow. This is huge. This is huge. And it's only Monday. All this week, folks, you know what we're talking about. Miguna Miguna's book. Let's see who comes out to either defend, yes, or indeed support this book. In the meantime, you cannot find guests like Miguna Miguna anywhere else but right here on the bench on the award-winning station, K24, where we are, no doubt you guessed it, even in times of peeling back the mask. We are indeed all Kenyan.
All the time.
Miguna Miguna. Capital Talk is filmed at Fairmont, the Norfolk.